Hey, good morning. Just said we had mentioned before the break there, you know, we're getting into hockey season. Many parents want their kids to be involved in sport. And it's not just hockey, it's soccer, it's lacrosse. Talk about concussions. Right here with me is Dr. Nick Reed. You are from Bloorview, that is, you're a clinical scientist that's there. Yeah. And we have Scott Oakman from the GTHL. First off, tell me about the handbook and what it's all about.
Yeah, so this great handbook that we produced in our concussion center at Holland Bloorview Kids Rehab Hospital is all about getting parents and youth specifically good information at the right time in the right way, and not just education, but strategies they can apply to their day-to-day to get back to doing the things they need, want, and love to do. So
about some of that right information, is that kind of identifying when maybe a concussions happen?
100%. So we want to make sure that everyone's on the same page that's involved in that child's life, that they can all identify the signs and symptoms of the injury, but not just that. Take it one step further. Now that you know you've had a concussion, what do you do? How do you feel better? How do you get back to school, sport, all the things you want to do?
And Scott, you know, you represent one of the biggest hockey, really one of the biggest hockey groups in not only the city, but the province. Why is this so important?
Well, I think there's been a tremendous amount of discussion about concussions over the last number of years, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. And this tool is going to be fantastic for parents and families to have, so that they know, as Nick said, you know, the signs and symptoms, but then what's the right thing to do once my child suffers a concussion? Where should I be going? Who should I be talking to? What steps does my child need to do to recover?
In recovery, sometimes it's a day, but sometimes it can be weeks and months.
Exactly. This is the thing. It's very variable between individuals, even within a child for their first, second, third concussion. It's very different, that recovery process. So what we need to do is give them tangible strategies they can apply to any injury, any concussion, to make sure they get back and enjoy their lives.
And a head injury like this doesn't just happen in sport, it could be just at the playground.
Yeah, and it's important that you mention that. Yes, it happens in sports, but it also happens tobogganing, horsing around with friends, in the community pool, wherever it may be. So we want to make sure athletes, non-athletes, all kids, all parents have this information.
So if a child falls or hits their head, what's one of the first things that you should really be, as a sign, be watching for?
So we want to make sure, first and foremost, especially in kids, which is different than adults, we look for behavior. Is that child behaving differently? They may not have the ability to tell us how they're feeling, but we do know that they're acting differently. And that can be just looking off, more fatigue, headaches, but also just more irritable, anxious, those types of things. So we need to be aware of all those types of symptoms.
And Scott, coaches are trained to see those symptoms as well.
There's no question. I mean, all of our teams have trainers on them that are not experts, but certainly are made aware of these things. But this resource is something we're going to get in their hands, get into the hands of parents and players, so that they have the most up-to-date information that they can possibly have to make sure the kids are as safe as possible.
And finally, where do they get the resource from?
So anyone can get it right now. It's freely available, free for everyone. You can go to hollandbloorview.ca/concussion handbook and access this great tool.
Okay, great. For more information, of course, you can go to our website as well. You can go to @KidsConcussion on Twitter. So thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Safe sports season this year, guys.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break right now from Breakfast Television. Still more to come.